Welcome to another edition of The Pull Up. So thank you for pulling up with me. I'm your host, George Guy. Now let me tell you what the pull up is. The pull up started off as a concept. When I work out, well, first of all, pull up started. We like to pull up on places. We like to say, "Hey, I'm about to pull up on you," or "I'm pulling up here." And I took that concept when I was talking to people, some of the people that I'm friends with on Facebook, to say, "Hey, this is the pull up." I would pull up with different songs, tell them my thoughts as I'm pulling up. Because the concept of pulling up is people don't know how, what it took for you to get to wherever you're going. So I like to use that concept when I'm talking about when I work out, to make sure folks can identify I'm just like you. It took me on a journey to get here. So it started off as just me being funny for somebody to relate to something that was real. So people would come to me and say, "Man, hey, I pulled up today." They worked out. They may have went to go see their family. They went to work, whatever they did. So I took that to mean that people are always pulling up. So when I'm having these conversations, what I want folks to understand is when guests pull up on me, we want you to pull up too, so you can understand that some of the guests are going to be inspiring. We're going to be talking about people that have been doing big things in their community, big things in the region, big things in the world. But wherever they're at, they started from a place. So they had to pull up. And so sometimes pull up is about preparation in terms of what you get there. So there's going to be pull up moments when we talk about the pull up. But today, I had the awesome opportunity of talking to a person that is a friend of mine. And I'm pausing because he is a very inspirational person. When it comes to servant leadership, I can't think of anyone greater in terms of the heart he has for community, kids, and families. But at the center of that is always kids. And he has a lot of experience. And when I came to the Fort Wayne community, he was the first person that I met. And so he introduced me to a city that has been open arms to me greatly because of his introduction and who he is. So we're going to have a conversation today. He's pulled up on me today. My guy, a very good friend of mine, Joe Jordan, who is the president and CEO of the Boys and Girls Club of Northeast Indiana, no longer Fort Wayne, and we're going to talk about that. What's good, Joe?
What's good, my man?
Good to see you. Good to see you, bro.
Always, man. Thanks for having me this morning.
Oh man, listen, man. Been wanting to have this happen. So my first guest was, of course, James, who's with Our Neutral Voices, who I'm doing this collaboration with.
Amazing brother.
But I told them that my first person that I wanted to have on, and outside of that, was Joe Jordan.
Well, thank you, man. I'm honored.
Listen, you know what it is with you, man, and what you've been able to do, and how you inspire so many people, man. So, what's good with you, man? How you doing?
Man, God is good, man. I'm just moving along, trying to make a difference every day. You know, we live in a world where hope is daunting, right? People are losing hope. So, you know, those who God has blessed to be in a position to provide hope, let's provide it, and that's what I'm trying to do every day.
And you live that, man.
Absolutely.
You are the core of what that's about.
Thank you.
I said the Boys and Girls Club of Northeast Indiana. It used to be Boys and Girls Club of Fort Wayne.
Yeah.
And people don't know that you have now, due to the mission of what you all started off with. And I know this brother, and he did not start off with the intent. He is a very, what we call a unselfish person when it comes to leadership, and humble. That wasn't the intention.
No.
But by the mission that was driven by you, and with the support of your board, it just led to other people calling upon what you had done here and taking over these other. What's that been like, man?
It's been rewarding. A lot of hard work. You know, but for me, really all this growth that happened at the Boys and Girls Club has very little to do with me. I really believe that. I believe that God has His hand on that organization, and I just happen to be in the driver's seat while He has His hand on the organization. I really believe when you're in a space of anointment where you should be aligned with God's purpose for your life, magic happens. And, you can witness that today through the Boys and Girls Club, because I believe that I was anointed to be where I'm at because I was once one of those children who benefited from the greater community, right? And I've been labeled, and I grew up in poverty, youngest of 10. So I can relate to the clients that we serve, and that's why I can drive them towards reaching their full potential. And I watched God work in my life, moving people in into my life that's at the right time, and also moving people out at the right time. And all of that added up to purpose-driven, mission-driven entity that has grown from a $250,000 annual budget to $6.8 million annual budget.
Wow.
Over a stretch of 15 years. And I'm very proud of that. I'm proud of the work that the people are doing in behalf of the club, the supporters, an amazing staff that God has allowed me to galvanize around the mission, and our beautiful kids, 600, 700 kids every single day.
That is amazing. I wasn't real good with math, but I know that's almost that's more than 10 times more than in terms of how big you are. So what other cities and communities besides Fort Wayne that you all?
Well, we're right now we're in the state of Ohio. Lima, Ohio is right across the border. They had no Boys and Girls Club presence. Now they're seeing 100 and some kids a day. Okay. Very, very healthy organization so far. We were in Grant County, and now we're looking at Syracuse, galvanizing Syracuse, and a few other smaller Boys and Girls Club around Northeast Indiana. It's quite a privilege when the National Boys and Girls Club nominates you as a regional organization. That tells you that there's some infrastructure, there's some significant safety requirements that we had to meet, and for them to pick us and say we want you to absorb or consider merging these other organizations around Northeast Indiana is probably the highest compliment an organization can get within the Boys and Girls Club movement.
And when you talk about safety, that's about risk.
Absolutely.
And so a lot of times people don't understand that to be a president and CEO of an organization, yes, it's definitely about the kids and the mission. But it's a business.
Absolutely.
People don't look at nonprofits as corporations. Talk about that, Joe.
It's funny that people look at not-for-profit as less than. It really should be considered more than, because we never have enough resources to really do the mission that we are served to do. And safety is definitely paramount, right? Mm-hmm. If someone, think about this, you are giving your kid to me every single day for 4 hours. Your kid say, Joe, take care of my baby. That is a heck of a responsibility, and we take that very serious. Mm-hmm. I've been at the club now 16 and a half years. Not one safety issue. And I say amazing. That, and I want to look for some wood because but at the end of the day, yes, we're doing our due diligence around safety. Yes, I got an incredible staff that makes safety a priority, but most of it is the grace of God. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's, we pray a lot, and God has blessed our organization to make sure that there hasn't been any safety concerns. I mean, you got 600-700 kids in your facilities every day, and I can say in 17 years we had no safety issues. That's rare.
Amazing.
That's rare.
That's amazing. And I'll say that as someone who's been involved in the nonprofit world, there's all types of things that can happen.
Absolutely.
So, and this is we call pull-up moments. You spoke about the Most High.
Absolutely.
God. You spoke about that a lot.
Absolutely.
And I happen to know you. He's at the center of what you do.
Absolutely. Yep.
Now let's talk about Joe as young Joe. Young Joe. Tell us a little bit about, man, your family is amazing.
Thank you.
You talk about well-accomplished, and I know you're the youngest of all those men and women, women, in terms of your siblings, all amazing people.
Thank you.
But as I told you, I think that there's a lot of people out there that are looking at this, and what I want when we talk about pull-up is we want people to understand that child that's out there right now who's probably told that he or she is awkward, because they may be caring, they may like comic books, they may like music, things that sometimes are not cool.
Right.
And so I fundamentally believe that once you understand and okay with who you are and you follow that trajectory, you're fine. Yeah. So what I like for people to do is get to know the folks that I have on. So Joe, talk about you, young Joe, how you grew up, how that was, and how that transcended into who you are today.
I give credit to my siblings and my parents for formulating who I am. youngest of 10. There's 6 older brothers, three girls, and they all poured into my life. I'm a sum total of all of them.
Sure.
Right. And the thing that I feared most, even as a mature adult, is disappointing them, because they have invested so much time and energy and love in me. I would never want to disappoint them. I don't want to disappoint them. And the second group of people that I don't want to disappoint is the kids that look up to me. Those two things worry me today. I don't want to do anything to disappoint my family or my kids. So I grew up in very impoverished area. We didn't have much. But what we did have is love in each other. And we had a sense of community around us. And we had encouragement, support. And we knew my mom graduated in 8th grade. My dad graduated 7th grade. They didn't have education. They moved from the South to Fort Wayne looking for a way of life. But what they did have, there's two things that my mom driven into all of us: education and faith. Stayed in church. Stayed in church. And so the foundation of the relationship that I have with my Lord and Savior is really what balances me and understands that I understand that I'm no better than nobody else and nobody's no better than me. So when they used to tease me for not having the latest clothes on, the latest gym shoes, and they used to tease me all the time, and it didn't bother me because I had a foundation, because I knew who I was. I took God's description of who I was, and so I've always believed that. And I also believe that I can always get better. I had a very strong sense of hope. Okay. And so, like my mom said, get your education, then you can do what you want to do. And that's proven to be true, And so we all got our education, and we all became productive adults. And as a result of our education and getting out and doing the right things, my nieces, my son, my nephews, never seen poverty. So we broke the cycle of poverty for the Jordans because we took advantage of opportunities. And that's why I do what I do every day, because if I can do it, anybody can do it, because there's nothing special about me. I'm just driven because I care. I care. That's the only thing that's different. People ask me all the time, what's the difference between you and your predecessor? I don't know. I just know I care. And when you care at a level that I care, it's not sympathy, it's empathy. That's a different level of caring, because empathy drives you to purpose. It drives you to action. I don't feel sorry for nobody. If I want to have an empathy so I can move towards action, because these kids are great. God has created them, and they are good enough to have a purpose in life, and we all got to drive them toward that.
Right. So I like that, leading with empathy.
Yeah.
But Joe Jordan as the young Joe, right? What shaped him? Yeah, what shaped him? I know about the basketball, being a point guard, which says a lot about. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The man's not afraid to dish it and do whatever it's going to take to get that shot in. You know what I mean? He's going to make sure he's leading the floor. But what was the young Joe, man, growing up in Fort Wayne, and what was that like for you, and how did that shape you in terms of what you were involved in and those type of things?
I was like any other inner city kid, loved basketball. I thought, one day I'm going to be in the NBA. And fortunately, I saw my brother get to the NBA level and all of the accolades that he received. But, basketball for me was, I look at basketball like, don't let it use you, you use it, right? And it paid for my undergraduate degree, right? Because somebody gave me a scholarship. But I've always been, and it also taught me some life skills and taught me who I was regarding my leadership. Every team I played on, I was nominated to leader. And being a point guard, you make everybody else great, right? And I had a chance to play at a high level and led the nation in assists my senior year, right? And in my biggest
led the nation in assists. That's outstanding.
Yeah. And my biggest accomplishments was really making 2 All-Americans. The guys that played with me, 2 All-Americans, right? I was nominated as an All-American, but I didn't make the All-American team. But those two made All-Americans, so
And you took pride in that.
that's what I was most proud of.
Different.
Right.
I'm telling you, it's different. This guy's
That was the
different.
most.
Yeah.
That's when I think about my basketball career. I said I made 2 All-Americans.
Mm-hmm.
I helped make 2 All-Americans, and that really resonated with me. As I look back and say, man, that was awesome. And so that's sometimes you got Hall of Famers, and then sometimes you got Hall of Fame makers. Right, I'm a Hall of Fame maker.
I like that.
And that's how I like to live my life. I like to push people forward, edify people, and God has blessed me in so many ways, man. I've lived an exemplary life, not a life that was, that hasn't, had challenges and growth needs, but certainly, man, when I look back, I saw how God was moving, even in the times where you thought they were the worst time of your life, and then you look back and say, "Oh, that storm wasn't about destroying me. That storm was about clearing some paths so He can bless me with really what He wanted me to bless me." So,
Sure. The community. I know your heart for community, almost to a fault.
Yeah,
times.
yeah.
I look at you like a servant leader, but you're a community builder.
Yeah.
What does your community mean to you? And really speak to, because there's a lot of communities like the community you're from.
Yeah.
So speak from that perspective of what community means to you and how important it is.
Well, it's extremely important to me because I think I lived here all my life, and I feel like I'm responsible for the community as well, right? As well as the mayor and the city council people, I'm responsible too as a citizen, and I take pride in that. Right, and we live in an amazing community. Sometimes we don't see that because we're isolated, but in general, we do live in an amazing community. And so I'm always trying to see how I fit in, how I can enhance it, right? And so I'm always looking for ways to improve the community because at the end of the day, I have an obligation because the kids inside the club, we can improve their lives and change their mindset. But they got to go out into the community, right? So the community has to embrace them too, and they have to feel like they're value added in the community as well, not just inside the doors of a club. The community have to value them as well, and so that goes hand in hand to me. My job is to build community around our kids, and if you knew anything about Boys and Girls Club, you'll see the community come inside our club to help our kids grow, and you'll see our club kids going out to the community to make sure that they're providing services to the community. Kids can contribute to their community right now if you provide those opportunities. So I'm really big on community and engaging community and help them understand the value of some, I think, untapped resources in our kids.
And that, when you talk about community development, what you just explained is really the socioeconomic structure. You're talking about kids, and how much they're adding value right now to the community.
Yep.
How much, because you all did something interesting. You all had a community development capital campaign. I call it community development capital campaign because it was leveraging community resources, but you all did raise the money on your own to build a new facility.
Yeah.
How much was that investment in that community?
$12.9 million.
And what did it add?
Well, it added a lot. For me, first of all, it's about the kids, right? We ask our kids to be first-class citizens, but we treat them like third-world citizens, right? And so I said, these kids deserve a brand-new facility. Wow. We need to do this. And I'm glad the community agreed with me. We raised that money less than 9 months, which is unheard of, right? And getting the top echelon corporate citizens to lead it with me, like Chuck Sorak, right? It's been amazing to me, and it really
Public-private partnership, right?
Public-private, exactly. And then the city came along with the new market tax dollars and those types of things. We had our grand opening, George. Over 3,000 people came to a grand opening of a Boys and Girls Club.
I was there, and I felt like just a spectacle because there was so many people.
It was unbelievable.
It was unbelievable, though.
But so it was really, truly a community project,
That's right.
right?
That's right.
And that's what you really want to build
right.
around your kids, this community. And that's probably one of the most proudest moments for my tenure at the club, to see the people that was galvanized around this new build in behalf of our kids. It was just a phenomenal day for me.
Let's talk about what's in it. You have a gym, state of the art gym.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which the community utilizes
all the time.
the Black College Fair that was there,
Yeah.
that my fraternity had to be a part of, and folks
Yeah.
were coming in and out of that.
Yeah.
Huge, right?
Yeah.
But talk about the other things in there, because you got the trade stuff.
Yeah.
Just talk to people about
so
that.
when we built that building, I kind of knew that I wanted to serve the older kids better, because at the end of the day, our aspiration is to make sure every kid that entered the doors of a club walk away with at least a high school diploma and a plan for the future. And quite frankly, the old building didn't allow us to serve the older kids, right? We were doing great with the younger kids, but when the kids got teenagers, they moved away from the club because we wasn't in a position to serve them. And so this new building was all about what we do for the teens. So this new building has the upstairs is all about teens, and so we got a dance studio, got an e-gaming room, got a mini Planets Fitness up there, but the most important room in my mind is the trades room, right? We have a program called Project Blueprint, which is really an exploratory program to help kids see if there's a way that they can go into some skilled trades, because a lot of our kids can't afford college. But just because you don't go to college don't mean you can't be successful. And so we wanted to create in these minds that, hey, these are some other, pipe fitters, electrician, plumbers, bricklayers, and those kids start getting that. So we started that program 6 years ago. And we survey our kids, and they start saying, I want to be a pipe fitter. I want to be a bricklayer instead of a basketball player or football. They start using these terminologies. So we knew that was working. So 2.5 years ago, there was an abandoned building 2 doors down. And I said, I'm going to bring Mayor Henry at the time, God rest his soul, and Tom Kelly. I said, you guys come walk through this building with me. And they did. I'll never forget, it was a cold October day, cold as heck outside. And Tom Kelly looked at me 45 minutes into the tour and listening to my vision and said, Joe, you want it? I said, yeah, I want it. He said, well, send me the invoice. He bought the building for us. And now we've got a world-class trade center to really be more immersive, right? It's not exploratory. We're talking about getting kids into those skill trades.
Right.
And it's been phenomenal to see what has happened in that space for us.
Listen, and really, collaboration at its finest. What you did was, as a nonprofit, you went to the mayor of the city, Tom Henry, and then you went to one of the, Kelly is, car dealership, involved in big business, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
A millionaire for all practical purposes, but is a big philanthropist here in the community as a result of that.
Absolutely.
Bringing them in on a tour of a building, because just to see your vision with nothing else in mind, but to talk about the vision of the Boys and Girls Club and to come out of that is collaboration at its finest.
Yeah.
And so, as we wrap up, because I know you're busy, there are folks out there that are looking at this, that are in their career, middle management, or even go further than that. They're just like a young Joe, and trying to figure out, like, I have all these ideas of how I want to shape community, how I want to do business.
Yeah.
What is your mantra in terms of leadership? Because I know that's the next level. I know, and I'm, I don't want to tell you business, but one of the things that you're going to be doing in the next phase of your life, or even doing it now, is that you do coaching, leadership coaching. So
Absolutely.
if you can leave folks with how important leadership is in your model when it comes to leadership, I think that would be valuable.
So many things I can say around that, but I think the most important thing is self-reflection, and make sure that you are doing what you're doing for the right reason, and make sure that it's aligned with a higher power. Ask yourself, is this what God wants me to do? Is this a space that I need to be in? And always check yourself, right? And be passionate about it. If you're not passionate about something, when I got out of college, I went straight to corporate America because I was looking for some money, right? And I worked 9 years in corporate America, and I was feeling so empty, and got an opportunity to get into not-for-profit executive leadership, and that's where I went. And I've been so fulfilled now. So my advice to anybody: find your passion, and don't search for success. Search for significance. So when you chase significance, success is right around the corner. You gotta live a life of significance.
That is awesome.
God has just given us this moment of time. Why would you waste it just trying to feed yourself? Feed others. Live a life of significance. That's what it's about. If you want to live beyond your physical years, pour into people, pour into kids. Even when your body's cold in the ground, you will live on. So find a place where you can live your life of significance and chase that, not just success.
Has that been, because people are listening, saying, or looking and saying, wait a minute, this man met with the mayor. This is a black man in a predominantly white community. White mayor, white business owners.
Yep.
Is it because of that kind of purpose, significance, why you don't have that kind of fear? Because I think people are afraid.
Yeah.
Is that what gives you that kind of courage?
Because God put me in a position to protect and promote, edify my babies. I can't be afraid to go ask people.
Right.
I'm in a position that these are, I see these babies every single day. What I look like, scared not to support these babies, right? But when you're aligned, when you feel like you're aligned with God's purpose for your life, you become unafraid because He will provide for you. I'm living it.
Right.
I'm a skinny kid from the hood, living a life of significance because I believe that I'm aligned with God's purpose. I believe that, George. And life hasn't been all sunshine for me, but when I got knocked down, God picked me right back up.
Right.
He picked me right back up, and then He showed me why He knocked me down. Again, He didn't create the storm to destroy me. He created to clear the path.
Right.
Right? Every single time in my life, He's picked me right back up and kept me going down the path. So I think it's alignment. I think when you align yourself with His purpose, there's no weapon formed against you should prosper. I believe it. I'm living it.
It's amazing. And it's real. And it's real. Joe, listen, man, there'll be a lot of people that watch this today, and I'm sure they're going to be inspired by a lot of the things you said. But I'm going to change direction on this last question.
Okay.
Because I know you are a purveyor, a student of music.
You know me too good.
And you like to have a good time, too, when it comes to music.
Absolutely.
So it's my opinion that every good servant leader, every good hero has a theme song.
Absolutely.
Joe, if you could, and I know it's a bunch of songs for you.
Yeah.
But here lately, man, what has been your theme song? And it's all fun, but then tell why, because everything with you has a purpose. So why has this song been your theme song?
I think the song that I love the best at this specific moment in my life, a song by Shirley Caesar called "God Has It All in Control."
Why that?
Because the world we live in seems to be out of control, and we only can control so much, right? And so when I think about what we're dealing with in the world, I'm always singing "God Has It All in Control." And my sister, Suzette, is an amazing singer, and she used to sing that when I was younger, and it always resonated with me. And when I feel I can't control certain things, I can't control that the government shut down and people are not eating, and it's frustrating for me. But I always go back to say, He has it all in control, and that gives me peace. That's the song today. It might change tomorrow.
Might be Joe tomorrow. The guy likes Joe.
Yeah, that's my guy. For real.
Favorite Joe song?
I want to know.
I want to know.
I want to know.
I want to know.
Yeah. Now that's a little sexy, but we can't talk about that.
I'll tell you my favorite Joe song would be just listening to it today.
Yeah.
Good Girls.
Oh,
that's off that same.
Yeah,
that's off that same CD. That's a jamming CD.
Man.
So I got to bring you back on, man. So we can talk about music.
I love that, man.
You know what I mean? Because I know you love music. And also, when you come back in the series, we're gonna get you on. We're gonna talk about Indiana Black Expo.
Yeah,
economically,
yeah.
what you've been trying to do with that, and how you've driven that in terms of the local chapter here in Fort Wayne and leadership. Period, man.
Yeah.
Listen,
Yes.
on behalf of the people here in the city of Fort Wayne, but also throughout the region, throughout the country, that know who you are and what you've done to imprint Fort Wayne on the map, because I know you carry this city wherever you go.
Absolutely. Very
Thank
proud.
you for all that you do
Thank
for
you.
the kids and families you serve every day.
Yeah, thank you, brother.
All right.
Back to you, by the way.
Oh, well,
Somebody need to interview you because you ain't no joke either, right? We need to highlight the accomplishments you made as you entered to this city and what you've done, man. It's been fantastic to watch. It was my pleasure to be the first brother that met you and introduced you to the city because you have elevated us and enhanced the things that we do here.
I
So
appreciate
thank you,
that, man. But that doesn't happen without the inspiration of people like you, man.
Thank you, bro.
So appreciate you. Thanks for pulling up, my brother.
Man, appreciate it.
All right, my man. Well, folks, listen, this has been another episode of The Pull Up. What you just heard today is really what The Pull Up's all about. It was intentional that I brought my brother Joe Jordan on today because what he was able to really put out there for you without me saying is talking about purpose. So when we talk about pull up, that's what we're talking about. We talk about that kind of courage when you have purpose, right? You're not afraid to pull up. You're not afraid to pull up to be prepared. You're not afraid to pull up to go to that meeting because you understand your purpose. Within every purpose, there's an assignment. But no matter what, you ain't afraid to pull up because you're aligned and you know what your purpose is. And that's what this is all about. So we'll see you next time on The Pull Up.